Good afternoon. This is my personal story at looking at data for Bennington Junior Senior High School for AEP 858 Module 5. So the first thing I looked at was this tweet from Twitter, and it says, "This isn't a time for us as educators to be asking anyone about student accountability. It's time to brainstorm about enlightening, inspiring, and instilling hope for a future of humankind." And I really enjoyed that because we are instilling hope in our students as educators. And so I think that goes with a lot of what we probably should look at in order to help our students achieve what it is they want to do in the world. One of the pieces that I looked at is where is Bennington currently at least in the state kind of look. And this first chart that you see is looking at their graduation rate from 2013 to 2017, so those last 5 years. And if you'll notice, so the graduation rate is the yellowish color. Our graduation rate has a 5-year average of 88%, so we graduate 88% of our students. But if you look at the orange portion, we have a 50, out of those 88% average, we have a 57% average of students being successful after high school. So that was kind of the big piece that I looked at of what can we do to improve that and the effectiveness. So we end up having a 50% being effective because our kids are only 50% successful outside of school. So that's kind of where Bennington's at from 13 to 17. And so what I looked at was one of the pieces that I was able to get from my principals was our chronic absenteeism. And in the last 2 years, so for the building for 18 and 19, we've gone up in chronic absenteeism, whereas the state's kind of just been around 13.9%. But the state of Kansas would like all schools to be at 10% for chronic absenteeism. And for last year, we were at 15.2%, so we're 5.2% above where we want to be. So that could be a reason why our kids aren't successful, is because they're being chronically absent. So some things I was looking at of what we could do to fix chronic absenteeism is first informing parents what it is, and then implementing advisory, which came into Bennington's redesign portion, is that they implemented advisory. So I wanted to look a little bit deeper into that to see how it works. So I have this. So to inform the parents, I came up with this infographic to help inform them what chronic absenteeism is, and it's just missing 10% of school. 10% of school, which a lot of parents don't understand. That's just 20 days out of the year, or 2 days a month. We kind of broke it down in this triangle, and then what I did was I put what don't count towards chronic absenteeism, and then what does count for chronic absenteeism, and then some myths and facts about students being gone. And so I thought those were kind of interesting, and just being able to inform parents about what that is so that they can get their kids to school. And then for advisory, what it is every teacher in the Bennington Junior High Senior High School has 10 to 12 advisees or mentees, and they meet every day on Mondays. And then currently, remotely, we are still meeting. And I'm going to play this video to kind of give you an idea of what mentoring is. Or maybe it'll play.
With Summit, every child is mentored weekly, and they get to speak with their teacher, and they have time with their teacher, and they are met where they're at, which allows them to have that authentic dialogue.
So we're working on math, and your projects are all done?
Oh yeah, all my projects are done.
All right, and what's the...
Because I didn't have a mentor last year, it was harder. It was like I couldn't do work like I couldn't focus. But now that I have my mentor this year, it helps a lot. It's like if I ever have something on my mind and I can't do my work, I just go to her and just let it out, and she's there.
They're not used to having a connection with their teachers in this way. Somebody to say, what is your goal today? What are you going to work on? What is your focus? What's our focus for today?
My focus for today is to finish math. And then hopefully
to have that thought partner in their curriculum. They're not used to that.
So that's just a little bit about what we do as advisors in our advisory meetings. So student learning, what another piece I looked at was student learning, and over the last 5 years, so from 2015 to 2019, if you look at our ACT scores and our average, our district, especially 19, we've been consistently below the state average. And when you look deeper in this, you'll notice it's because of the math. And then another chart that I was able to look at from my building is the fact that the ACT lets kids know if they're ready for college classes. And so if you look right here at this college algebra piece, 15% of Bennington students are ready for a college algebra level class, according to the ACT. So math is definitely our weak point, and that can come from what I was looking at is in the last 5 years, Bennington's had at least one new math teacher, so just lack of consistency with maybe from teacher to teacher on what they were teaching. So we've really tried to bring in new people that will hopefully stick around, so that way we can hopefully bring that in. And then the other thing we've done to help with that is we've gone to Summit Learning, the platform. And so why does BHS use this platform? Well, we didn't feel like we needed to reinvent the wheel. With redesign, Summit had everything that we were looking for, so that's why. One of the neat things is at a glance I can look at what students are missing what, or what they didn't understand the most of, and what they did. And then how do we know this is working? Well, this is state assessment scores based on 2018-2019, and I think this is really cool because in 18 we weren't using Summit Platform, but in 19 we were. And you'll notice that our number of level ones, which is this orange portion in our building, went from 54.2% of kids being at a level 1 to being at a level, or to 32.96 kids being at a level 1. And so our level 2s went a little bit up, our level 3s took a big jump, and then our level 4s did decrease, but I think that's because we got a confusion of which assessment to give them. But I think it's really, you can see that this is working with the rigor and what we're doing. And so school processes, one thing our school does as a redesign schools, we created this power hour schedule to help us get our kids more time. And so how this works is if the kids are at a certain point, they're staying caught up, they can, go to the lounge, they can go to the gym, they can just hang out in the halls. So we have all these teachers in different places. And then if they're too far behind, then we have these SDL rooms, these student directed learning rooms, so that the kids can have that space to learn, and a quiet space. And so this is really beneficial for those kids because we've really helped kids not be so far behind or staying caught up by implementing this piece. And then, is what BHS is doing making a difference? And my belief is yes. When we had to go to remote learning, currently, our parents' biggest concern was losing advisory, and we made sure we didn't do that. And then looking at that state data, our data has gone up with kids being from level 1s to level 2s and so forth. And then, do we still have room to grow? Of course. We always have room to grow, and we're looking at that, and we've made goals based on those places as well. So that is what I looked at as far as data and Bennington Junior Senior High School.